we're taking on some of the most important issues of our day. I think it's great that Buddhists are taking up these issues because I think that Buddhism has some things to offer, some resources that might help us to address these urgent questions. We all speak from where we stand. Each person has a different experience, both in terms of race, gender, and so many other issues. In my case, I grew up, much of my early life was in Kentucky, so I grew up with segregation, and something that people today may not have too much experience or even knowledge about. So this kind of experience of growing up with segregation shapes my perceptions of the issue. I could feel even as a small child that something was wrong, but I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. I felt really embarrassed about the way Black people were treated, but I was a kid, right? And I had no tools for how to work with this issue, either the social issues or my own feelings about it. And later, in California, I grew up in Malibu. I mean, it was, except for Sammy Davis Jr., it was completely white. My high school, Malibu didn't have a high school. We went to Santa Monica for high school. And I remember only 2 or 3 Black people in the entire school, a couple Filipinos. And, you know, it was really white. I didn't get much experience with dealing with racial issues. Now later in Berkeley, everything came to the fore. And we began to see that the United States as a nation had to confront some of these issues if we were going to avoid some major problems and undo some enormous social injustice. And later, living a couple of years in Asia, or altogether 20 years in Asia, race looked very different again because everyone was Asian. And in Hawaii also, living for decades in Hawaii, race looks different yet again because we're all minorities. So it's good to remember situatedness, that the issues are different depending on where we live, where we stand, how we grew up, family backgrounds, and all of that. The way our identities are shaped. There are many tools for dealing with these things. First and foremost, I think, are questions of identity, constructing identity. What we mean by that. Where does race and gender factor into the way the Buddhists understand constructions of identity? I mean, no self ultimately, but on a conventional level, we have to deal with it. We have to think about it in order to understand the meaning of life, basically. Also, another resource is loving kindness. Now, compassion for those who are on the receiving end of racial injustice, I feel is really important and obvious, of course, but the Buddhists make it explicit how to develop compassion as a practice, as a spiritual practice. Loving kindness as a tool, and I'm going to separate them out in a way. Loving kindness meaning the wish that all beings be happy, in contrast to compassion, may all beings be free from suffering. So both of these are relevant. Loving kindness can be used as a tool for dealing with racism on a personal level and a social level. For example, if we have to go for Thanksgiving dinner with people who are not open-minded, generating loving kindness in advance can really help us to avoid some inner conflicts and also to deal better with people whose perspectives we don't agree with. All of the things I'm mentioning about race can also be applied to gender. So let's take the idea of gender discrimination when we are the recipients of that kind of discrimination on a daily basis. So some of us have more experience with race, some have more experience with gender. Ultimately, we all have to deal with both. And the same tools that apply to dealing with racism and racial injustice are also useful for dealing with gender injustice.